On to all of my Scorpios. So you Scorpios have the Hanged Man, Four of Swords, Four of Wands, Ace of Cups, the King of Swords, the World, Two of Pentacles, Five of Cups, the Page of Wands, and last but not least, we have the Devil. So let's get into it. So for you Scorpios, you have the Hanged Man, the Four of Swords, and the Four of Wands. And the Hanged Man is about some of you Scorpios, honestly speaking, the Hanged Man, the Four of Swords, and the Four of Wands, honestly, is about how a lot of you Scorpios just kind of at this current point in time want to call it quits. A lot of you Scorpios are like, yo, you know, people out here be tripping. People out here, they're all over the place. And you're correct in that in that instance. A lot of people out here pretty much are very much confused. You know what I mean? There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of, I don't really want a relationship, but they're in one. Then, they're fly and they this and they that. But then as soon as they start getting along with somebody, now it's like, nah, I got to start doing all this grimy stuff to the person, right? Doing people dirty, right? Even though I said that I want to be in a relationship, or, I got to do all this grimy stuff. And to be honest with you, Scorpios, that's kind of the thing that's getting a lot of y'all down. And a lot of you Scorpios need to understand that that's just a part of it, because, again, a lot of people are compromised between between the two juxtaposing ideas, right? The idea of they see some stuff online about people acting and wilding out, and then they really do try to take this type of all of this nonsense into outside of this YouTube stuff. So now they done seen all this YouTube nonsense, right, of people who's not giving them any kind of real world knowledge, nothing that they could really do. They're just pressing the panic button, right, in their brain, right, because of all this fear mongering. And so what happens is that a lot of times, a lot of you Scorpios can get caught up with that, because you may really misinterpret what's really going on out here. Are there a lot of confused people? Yeah, there are. But just because there's a lot of confused people, does not necessarily mean that everything is all bad. See, you have to understand things for what they really are. The people who get into a relationship and then they treat you like trash, those people, they secretly in love with you. But the problem is with them. So the problem is not necessarily you. And a lot of times, especially in today's world, you got to also understand, Scorpio, that the more awesome you are, the better you are. This is why I say to y'all that there's different forms and variations of singlehood. It's not just, because you act. Because if that's the case, a lot of us, you would think that a lot of us would have like many people that's just trying to get at us, just trying to claw to get at us. And you would think that there would be dysfunctional people would essentially get what it is that they deserve, right? Which is to be by themselves. But why is it that things are crisscrossed and reversed, or it seems like it's reversed? The reason why it's reversed or it's crisscrossed, more so accurately crisscrossed or jumbled, is because of the fact that in today's world, mediocrity is what creates the standard. So a lot of people are rushing to be mediocre when it comes to learning how to be social, learning how to be in a relationship. So when it comes to being in that type of scenario, right, a lot of times what you Scorpios got to understand is people will reprimand you, because of the fact that you're awesome. The more awesome you are, is the more people going to be jealous of you, the more people going to be envious of you. That includes the people who you getting down and you hanging out with on that romantic level. So you got to take into consideration that since this is the case, you can't be so caught up with that. You got to understand that this is part of it, and that if you're going to continue to date, again, what you really want is a person that still has their mental faculties, that has learned to preserve their mental faculties in a healthy way. Because a lot of people out here really out of their mind to some degree, or to a large degree, depending on the person. So the Ace of Cups and the King of Swords is about how, so this is about how you have to remember that. And you Scorpios have to be more cold-hearted, in the sense that when I say cold-hearted, I don't mean cruel. I mean cold-hearted in the sense that when you Scorpios are getting to know people, you have to be more attentive to what is going on. Okay? You have to be more attentive. And if the person ends up playing some stuff and you're on the receiving end of them playing some stuff with you, learn to forgive it and keep moving forward, right? Because that should be water up underneath the bridge. Now, right? And not only that, but also learning when and where. My cat laying there. But learning when and where to cut somebody off and to stop speaking to them. Okay? Because they're going to do everything that they're just going to add more stress to your life. Now, the World and the Two of Pentacles represents how, since this is the case, the World is about, and also understand your options. You can either choose to remain to be with them, be by yourselves, or go talk to somebody else. So there's never a time where you don't have options. And that goes for everybody, right? It's just that what people who play games do is they try to get you to think, they try to get you to come to your own conclusions that there's no choice but to sit there with them and just only be with them, which is a huge mistake, because that's not true at all. And then you have the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles and the Five of Cups represents part of the reason too, is because part of the reason why it is, or I should say more so rather, to start progressing. One of the things that a lot of you Scorpios got to watch out also, or too, is the fact that a lot of you Scorpios a lot of you Scorpios really don't understand that a lot of the stuff that people put on y'all is trash. So a lot of the times you Scorpios will carry the burden of a lot of other people because they're projecting a lot of that stuff on you. Like I said before, right? Water signs get a lot of projection on them, because water is the zodiac's, or water is the element of projection, meaning that when you see the moon's projection on water, right? A person who doesn't necessarily know any better would think that that's actually the realm where the moon exists. But a person who understands that that's a reflection of the moon hitting the water, actually putting an influence on the water, and that's not the realm in where the water is. It's actually over your head, right? It's above you when you look at it, right? Physically is concerned. You realize what it is. So a lot of you Scorpios, what makes a lot of y'all intense is because of this. You think that there's no way to change your circumstances. And a lot of you Scorpios got to understand, of course, there's a way to change your circumstance. You change your circumstance by understanding that this stuff, when it comes to dating, it is meant for you to have as much fun as possible. You know, like you see how it is that even with me, I've been in situations myself where a lot of the people who I'm trying to get to know, they act stupid. And then, yeah, it hurts for like a little bit, hurts for like a couple of hours, maybe even a day. And then, you know what I mean? Maybe even 2 days. And then I basically move on, because I'm not going to spend all my time for the rest of my life sitting down wondering about the stuff that, this type of stuff will happen. I used to do that when I was a teenager, but I don't do that type of stuff anymore because I'm much more experienced. So a lot of that stuff, especially when it comes to the past, you got to more so chop it up to the game. You got to understand that you got to learn your lessons from the past instead of just sitting up thinking about what happened to you from the past. You got to look at past events like lessons as opposed to being emotional triggers, right? And then the Page of Wands, and the Devil now represents, you also have to understand what it is that you bring to the table and what it is that, how you make a person's life simpler. What do you offer? Because the Page of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Cups, okay, well, I should say more so the Page of Wands and the Page of Pentacles, these are cards that are about offering. The Page of Swords is more so about defending oneself, so not wanting to necessarily be hurt, but lashing out. And the Page of Cups is more so about lying to oneself so they can't be hurt. So one is more so, right? Page of Wands and Page of Pentacles is more so, which you got, right? Page of Wands, which is what you got, is more so about how you Scorpios need to not be so concerned with what games people are playing and just be aware of them so that when people run games on you, you know when to stop talking to them. And you know how. Ghost them. And then you have the Devil, okay? Then you have the Devil. Now the Devil represents, because there's this sense of being trapped. And it's not that you're trapped at all. What it is that you're just not understanding your own potential. You know? You're not really estimating your own potential. You're not really taking things into consideration, because a lot of you Scorpios are not really able to perceive right now, even though you should be, that a lot of people really do like you, because you getting lost in the distraction of, well, if this person like me, then why is it that they don't do this? Because they're dysfunctional. So you can't trip on that for your whole life. You got to understand, okay, this is what it is that I learned, and I got to go ahead and I got to fix this. So let's clarify the Devil now. So to clarify the Devil, right? You have the Chariot, Two of Cups, Knight of Swords, okay, Queen of Wands. So as far as the future is concerned, the Chariot and the Two of Cups, yes, you'll be more aware of what's going on by asking some people questions and really getting to know, you know, really getting to know them and listening and being aware of what it is that they say. And the Two of Cups represents, and just giving yourselves enough time to observe what happens and then make proper decisions based off of that. Then you have the Knight of Swords. This is a very wise decision, because now you won't have to be so stressed when it comes to dating. And the Queen of Wands represents, right, you won't let other people stress you out and try to put pressure on you that's not even necessary. So that's very good strategy that a lot of you Scorpios have, right? A lot of us are not paying attention. The ones who are paying attention is giving a little bit too much compassion, like myself. That's one of the things that I should have did. I should have been more ruthless, you know, but that's a lesson that I have to learn myself. So every one of us has our own lessons that we have to learn. But that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel.